Time for one of the big forgotten artists of the late 2000s to early 2010s. Owl City burst onto the scene in 2009 with one of the most beautifully catchy songs of the year. He had a few more minor hits over the next couple years, then one more massive one in 2012, and that's where most people's memories of him seem to end. Now this is different than the last couple because I actually have listened to quite a bit of Owl City's later songs. But even I had to listen to a lot more because this guy has a very extensive catalog. So I say let's not waste any time. Whatever happened to Owl City?
When I'm far too tired to fall asleep.
Alright, so Owl City is the stage name of Adam Young, who began working on project in his parents' basement, but his first act was actually as a drummer for a band he started with his two friends, Andy and Tony Johnson, called Windsor Airlift. And in 2008, he also formed another band with Austin Tofty called Swimming with Dolphins. So I listened to most of the stuff he did with them, and they're very ambient, more focused on vibes than lyrics. They're fine, but God, are they long. One of the Windsor songs is 25 minutes, and they have names like Waves Spent on Breathing, and The Face Alone Unveils Shadow, and The Trouble with Bugs is that they're non-confrontational. When I try to confront them, they just run away. Some of the songs also do weird shit like take clips from Tom Hanks movies. If you like vibes, you'll probably like them, but I still don't think we needed a techno remix of Fast Car.
You got a fast car.
He left both bands in 2009, but he also had another side project going on called Port Blue, in which he released one album in 2007 called The Airship, which was another instrumental. Oh, and since he had so much free time, he also started another side project called Sky Sailing, which he recorded a whole album for called An Airplane Carry Me to Bed. Keep in mind, this all happened before the damn Fireflies song. This album's pretty good, and actually did pretty decent because while he recorded it in 2007, it wasn't released until 2010, a year after his breakout hit. Okay, we can finally talk about the stuff released under the Owl City name. There was an EP released in 2007, but the first official album was released in 2008 called Maybe I'm Dreaming. Since it was self-released, it didn't do much, but there is one music video for a song called Early Birdie, filmed by his friends. It involves Adam walking around the city wearing a Cosby sweater. Also, he's apparently in an episode of 24.
So many sights to see, so wake up like an early birdie.
The song is okay. The only other song to get any traction was the Technicolor phase, because 2 years later was the song that made it onto the Almost Alice album. Every time that album comes up, I hate it even more.
If you cut me, I suppose I would bleed the colors of the evening stars.
Pretty good song, has absolutely nothing to do with Alice in Wonderland, and I'm just guessing most of them don't. Back to Maybe I'm Dreaming, the album is pretty good. There's only a couple standout songs, but I did enjoy it overall. Like I said, didn't do much, though apparently did get into the top 100 albums in South Korea, so that's not nothing. And a year later, he released his next album, Ocean Eyes. And we finally get to a song you've heard.
I'd like to make myself believe.
Fireflies is like if a dream were a song, which is weird because it's actually about insomnia.
'Cause I get 1,000 hugs from 10,000 lightning bugs.
So are Ray and his family trying to help you through your insomnia or something? I'm pretty sure some melatonin is all you need, buddy. That said, the song is absolutely beautiful and easily the best piece of media ever made about going to bed. Suck my dick, Goodnight Moon. And thanks to being featured as iTunes free single of the week, it managed to shoot all the way to #1 on the Billboard charts for 2 non-consecutive weeks. If you're wondering, it was Jason Derulo's What You Say that broke them up. In early 2010, he released the second single, Vanilla Twilight, which only got to number 72, and in fact, I didn't hear it until years later.
I'll watch the night turn light blue, but it's not the same without you, because it takes two to whisper quietly.
The song is great. It's the typical I'm upset about a breakup thing, but his voice, the use of metaphor, I legit feel so sad for him.
I'll find repose in new ways, though I haven't slept in 2 days, 'cause cold nostalgia chills me to the bone.
Music video's a little weird though. A bunch of people stop and stare at a vanilla Twilight cloud, though by the way they're acting, I assumed it was aliens. Also Shaq's in it. It's the best thing he's ever been in. The third and final single, which I have never heard before, is called Umbrella Beach.
I disappear.
This one didn't chart, and I can kind of see why. It's not bad, but it doesn't have the same charm as the other two. According to Adam, it's about a hermit who lives in a boxcar, but the boxcar sinks to the bottom of the bay, and instead of finding a new home, he learns to scuba dive and lives underwater now. So he's an idiot. Where the hell did he get scuba equipment if he's homeless? What the hell does this video have to do with that? It's about a kid building a plane out of a go-kart and trying to fly. The only similarity is that they're both about Darwin Award winners. The rest of the album is solid. Not many I'd go back to, some are repeats from his other albums, but it did well in sales. So in 2011, he released his next album, All Things Bright and Beautiful. He released several singles from it, but none of them charted. Though you can tell he tried, given that one of them, Alligator Sky, features a rap verse. Unfortunately, the rapper was Sean Christopher, a man you, nor I, have ever heard of.
Try to, cause we've been lied to, that the sun is something that we can't fly to.
Don't try to fly to the sun, dumbass. I really like this one called Galaxies. It's a lot of fun and even has this cute little intro interlude called January 28th, 1986. Wait, isn't that the date that...
Ladies and gentlemen, today is a day for mourning and remembering. They had a hunger to explore the universe and discover its truths. And they had that special grace, that special spirit that says, give me a challenge and I'll meet it with joy.
Wait, this song is about the Challenger disaster?
Dear God, I was terribly lost when the galaxies crossed and the sun went dark.
Oh, God!
Comet, the sunset, dovetailed the dragnet, and blew your backbone to bits.
A lot more was blown to bits, Adam. Yeah, this super cheery song is perfect to represent one of the darkest moments in our nation's history.
You're the only North Star I would follow this for.
As for the rest of the album, it's decent, although it does have one great standout. One is Deer in the Headlights, a song I have listened to a lot over the years. I couldn't believe it didn't chart in America at all.
Met a girl in the parking lot, and all I did was say hello. Her pepper spray made it rather hard for me to walk her home.
Well, don't randomly approach random women in the middle of a dark parking lot, Adam. This song sounds incredible. It sounds like what I would want time travel to sound like, which might explain why he's in the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
You know love could shine this bright. I'm sorry I ever tried.
This song is great. It's another one of my workout songs. Next up, we get to 2012's The Midsummer Station, with the first single being a self-empowerment song named after something that's only visible for a few seconds, with a video featuring a bunch of people with light shooting out of their chests. No, the other one.
When the sun goes down and the lights burn out, then it's time for you to shine.
Shooting Star is nice. It's just a nice song with a nice message. Sure, it's a metaphor of an object that's only visible briefly to show people they're worth something, and maybe that's not the best idea, but goddamn his conviction.
Oh, the pouring rain. We'll try to put it out, but not this time.
I was surprised this didn't chart either. I remember my school dining hall playing it a lot on their TVs. But at least it got featured in the movie Escape from Planet Earth, and that's not nothing. It's close to nothing, but not completely. Anyway, the only other single off that album did chart.
It's always a good time.
Good Time got all the way to number 8 and is one of the most happy songs I've ever heard. This is such an early 2010s song, perfectly representing that time after the recession but before Donald Trump. It's a song about optimism even when things go wrong. It also features a young Canadian pop star called Carly Rae Jepsen, who that same summer had her own massive hit, and this made it so people couldn't call her a one-hit wonder. Although if you're curious, she also has some great songs released after 2012. I love this song. In a year that gave us a lot of good pop music, this was one of the best. And that seems to be where most people's recollection of Owl City ends. But if you're interested, the rest of that album is also pretty good. My favorites being Dreams and Disasters, Embers and Dementia, which no shit features Mark Hoppus of Blink-182. His next album, Mobile Orchestra, would come out in 2015, so of course there was no room for any Owl City in the worst year ever. The first single was Verge, featuring Aloe Black.
I ain't too sure what I believe in, but I believe in what I see.
Wait, why does he sound familiar?
So wake me up when it's all over.
Oh, it's that guy. Okay.
Out on the verge of the rest of our lives tonight.
I swear I've heard the song before, but I don't remember where or when. It's pretty good, and I like it signifying the end of something and on the verge of a new beginning. This was released exactly 5 days after I graduated college, so maybe that's when I heard it and it hit a nerve so I remember it despite not listening to it since. The next single, My Everything, didn't do much for me, although I will say Adam's Christian upbringing is starting to shine through.
And I sing with all of my heart.
Yeah, Young is apparently a very devout Christian, and while he usually doesn't force it down your throat, on this album he starts to make it a little more obvious. The final album was called Unbelievable, featuring... Are you serious?
It's unbelievable. This is as good as it gets. It's unbelievable. Don't know what's gonna happen next.
This song is awesome. Aside from being catchy, it's a song about nostalgia featuring a lot of things that I actually remember.
When I was a kid, I ate SpaghettiOs, played laser tag and G.I. Joes.
When I was a kid, I still had VHS. Watch Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff.
On Berenstain Bears and beanbag chairs, my LA looks and Goosebumps books. So etch a sketch. What happens next?
My god, if I had actually heard this back in 2015, I might have cried. This might be my favorite song so far. Sadly, the rest of the album doesn't live up to this song. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but there aren't really any that stand out. Also, he did a country song with Jake Owen, and that's pretty unforgivable. Next album came out in 2018 called Cinematic, which has 15 songs, 4 of which became singles. There's Not All Heroes Wear Capes, an acoustic ode to his dad, All My Friends, a thank you to his school buddies for sticking by him, Lucid Dream, which unfortunately got overshadowed by another Lucid Dreams that year, and New York City, about the first time he ever left his hometown. This one's easily my favorite of the 4 singles, but honestly I prefer the non-singles off this album. For me, there are 3 masterpieces. One is the title track, Cinematic, which is a great song about how you're the star and director of your own life.
With all your heart and soul, dream big, and you can feel the magic.
Then there's Madeline Island, which is literally just him singing about a vacation he took with his family, but my god, he makes it sound like an adventure.
Out there in the Great Lake Superior, right across the bay, we sat back, put our feet up, and there we were, half a world away.
And finally, my favorite song on the album, Fiji Water, which you may remember I used for the end of my 10th anniversary special.
And I'd say, hey, thanks for the weekend. I ain't a smooth talker, but thanks for the Fiji water.
It's not only a good song about telling the record executives where they can shove it when they try to change you, but a song about looking back. You could tell a major theme of this album is nostalgia, which, as someone who was Adam's age when he was writing this album, I get it. Well, anyway, before we get to the final album, let's speed run through some other things he's done over the years. He's been on the soundtrack for several movies. You may remember this song from Wreck-It Ralph.
It's been fun, but now I've got to go. Life is way too short to take it slow.
Or this in The Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Bird's eye view, awake the stars 'cause they're all around you.
Never seen that movie, is it any good? He's recorded Christmas songs, like 7 EPs, was featured on songs by artists none of us have ever heard of with names like Chicane, He Is We, and Armin van Buren, did the theme song for some mobile game called Nero Cloud, did a cover of Listen to What the Man Said for a Paul McCartney tribute album. Oh, he also did a remix of All Star by Smash Mouth.
Hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star, get the show on, get paid.
He He also did an entire series throughout 2016 called Adam Young Scores, based around real events and places including the Titanic and Miracle in the Andes, which, if you don't know, is where a plane full of rugby players crashed and the survivors had to resort to cannibalism to survive. Man, Adam, really love making music for tragedies, don't you? Well, let's finally talk about his most recent album, 2023's Coco Moon, with its first single, Kelly Time.
You were trying to light a fire, and all you wanted was a match. But you knew I didn't have one, so it was odd that you should ask.
So I love this song when I first heard it, but I didn't consider it a masterpiece until I found out what it was about.
But as the weeks turned into months, I saw you overcome your fears. We would talk and talk for hours. You would make sure I felt heard, 'cause you knew what I was saying, though I never said a word.
This is a song recapping the movie Castaway, told from the perspective of Wilson the volleyball.
We both washed up on that island, all alone without a friend, thinking you and I were gonna die there, and that would be the end. And just like that it happened, the waves took me away. And I'm sorry, I'm so sorry that you lost a friend that day.
This song is absolutely beautiful, just an outstanding piece of music. It also made me appreciate the movie more. Like, I like Castaway, I thought it was good, but after listening to this, I now see it as one of the most beautifully tragic movies ever made. And the song is also just so hopeful, which again, matches the theme of the movie. The next single, called Adam Check Please, is pretty good, but I prefer the third single, Vitamin C.
When I walk on the beach, I never wanna leave, 'cause when I get kinda salty, I need some vitamin C.
This is the most vacation-y song to ever exist. I'm recording this before I go to the beach, and I'm gonna blast this the whole way there.
Sitting on a beach is cheaper than therapy.
Damn right. The whole album is pretty good, but my absolute favorite song is called Learn How to Surf.
You gotta go with the flow, 'cause the tides always turn, and sink or swim, diving in is the best way to learn. Kick up the sand, 'cause your tan proves you live through the burn.
It's basically just a solid beach song, but not only is it super catchy, I love the message, which is basically life's gonna throw a lot of shit at you. It's sometimes gonna be hard, but just keep trying and you'll learn to go through the struggles and overcome them. This song has really been speaking to me. I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety the last few months. I made some bad financial decisions in the first half of the year. My weight loss is stagnant, and I'm so close to paying off my student loans, but I'm always scared something will happen. But I listen to this, and it does kind of mellow me out. Sometimes I just need a reminder.
And by the way, it's okay, it could always be worse.
So yeah, if you haven't heard any Owl City songs since 2012, give some of these a shot. He's really talented, and I'm sure he'll be making music for years to come. Well, that took a while. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.
'Cause my dreams are bursting at the seams.